Oh, I think that was it. Yay!
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you did worked. Okay, hopefully though. Am I recording? Okay. Yes, that one's going. Yay! We're here. So excited. So excited. Let me turn it on you. Yes, we
Hello.
are here. Hi, it's Let's Talk About It. Oh my gosh. Say technical difficulties. It's Let's Talk About It with TALEYA. Hola, hola, people. ¿Cómo estás? So excited to be here to get into it. It's the Real, the Raw, the Relevant podcast. And I have none other than Mrs.
Brie, Hope, Baby Biscuit.
I was still in the moment. Look, I'm still over here feeling it. Mrs. Brie Hope, yes.
Hey.
Baby Biscuit, La Freak.
Yep.
No, what is Baby Buns La Freak?
Baby Buns the Freak. That's the other alter ego.
Baby Buns McGee.
Yep. So it's like Baby Biscuit McGee,
Yes.
Baby Buns the Freak, and Little Happy Howie. Those are the three characters we have.
See, I haven't got to Little Happy Howie yet.
Not yet. He's working.
I'm working on it, but
Yeah.
I'm doing my homework. I fell in love. First of all, I love it. I love it. I love it. We got to tell the people where to find you and all that good stuff and how to get. But I'm like, yes, let's go back to everything. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have you. So honored.
I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, I thank God. Forgive my foolishness. I'm working on it, y'all. Y'all know me and my foolishness. I am so working on the timeliness. But I wanted to shout out before I get carried away because I like to let the people know how we met. Well, actually, yeah, before I get carried away, let me jump off in prayer. Let's do that. Unless you down the ride to take the jump off, start off prayer. How you feeling? How you feeling? Okay.
I'm gonna let you handle that.
Okay, all right. I'll take the jump off prayer.
Okay.
God of the universe, speak to us. Speak through us for your glory. Amen. Amen. I am learning how to pray.
Me too. I was nervous because I feel like sometimes people like have Bible verses memorized, and I'm like not there. So I just kind of go off the tongue too, where it's like, here's how I'm feeling. Thank you, Lord.
I'm learning, and it's so crazy because the person that introduced us, is the one who taught me like, your prayer is too long. Nope, nobody's gonna listen. Nope, nobody's paying attention. Nope, you lost me after the first two. And I'm like, and so as I've been on my path, some one sentence prayers have changed my life. And I'm like, wait a minute, we ain't gotta be blood, sweat, and tearing and crying for 50 years. And it's sometimes just the simple sincerity of your heart. Holy Spirit, help me. Right. I remember telling somebody that was my actual prayer for an entire year. Help me. I had nothing else to say. Grew up, raised in the church. Can write a thesis on prayer, and I prayed for a year. Help me. And that was the sincerity of my heart. So I learned today, and I think those were the words that I sent to you, and that's what the Spirit brought back to me. You know, and I say it that way because the way I was raised, I never knew God as the universe. So now I have to be the example and be the change and the church that I wish I would have grew up in.
That's powerful.
So with that being said, tell the people, Queen Brie, Baby Buns La Freak, tell them, yes, how we met, how do we know each other? Thanks to...
Wasn't it that, like, okay, didn't we meet at DATV?
So we officially met here,
Yeah.
But I think it was James that, I don't know if it was before we actually met, that was like, you need to hook up with Brie. Long story short, my love for you comes from James. He's yes, James, before I even knew you were here, was telling me about you and wanted to collab with you with doing the Move Forward movement. Our work, James helped me start the Move Forward movement and spark that, the nonprofit that I'm working on with the kids. We're changing the whole world, y'all. Don't forget about the Move Forward movement. We are changing the whole world, one child at a time. Okay, mind, body, soul. I'm working on my elevator pitch I just got a mentor, and he was like, "You talked about the kids for 15 minutes straight," and he's like, and he wasn't being nice about it. He meant what he said, and he's like, "Yeah, you need to squeeze it into like 30 seconds, that whole elevator pitch." And I was like, "Okay," so I'm practicing. We're saving the whole world, one child at a time, mind, body, soul. Will we be made whole? Okay, something. We're going to figure it out. But yes, don't forget about us.
I love that.
So James was thinking you could help collab with that. And he's like, you're trying to do the podcast. He told me about you having a show here. And he's like, you need to get with Brie. And I'm like, okay. And Brie, on God, if I can confess. And I was like, no way, Jose. Believe it or not, my car broke down again a couple days ago. And I was like, really, universe? I was like, this is me and Brie's time. Like, I am not canceling the podcast today. I just got my car back running today. Like, yay. That's say yay. Praise the Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. Okay. So I was like, oh no, if I have to walk to that studio today, I was like, I am not canceling on Brie. We are doing what we came here to do. Amen.
Well, thank you, James, for the glowing review.
Yes.
I just know you, and from the podcast that you do, like back when I did work here at DATV.
Shout out to DATV.
Yeah, shout out to DATV. I would come in and I'd see you, talking and setting up, and you had it was a different vibe, There was tarot cards or just other things that I think not everybody's using.
Chakra cards.
Chakra cards. Excuse me. Chakra cards.
I'm learning.
And
no diss.
It's definitely.
I actually brought them today. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, I'd like to use those, but it's different. It's different than everybody else's podcast, and I like what you're doing with the children. That's incredible.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
I always thought super cool person, and I was honored to be here and talk about my show and what's going on.
Yes, tell the people about your show,
Baby Biscuit Town, folks. It's a great show. I call it. It's a show for brown ladies and marginalized folk.
Yes.
So that's kind of. We have the pulse on that sort of thing.
Please pause and back it up for us 8th grade and under educations. Yes, it's marginalized. Because when I first looked into your podcast, I was like, wait a minute, Surrey? Which I didn't Surrey. But it just took me back that I wasn't ready for that language right there in the intro. So break it down for us that don't understand, though.
Well, it's like all those on the periphery, just every person other, so to speak. That was definitely who I made the show for. And there's a lot of those people. And I feel like often they're brown and often they are women or identify as feminine in some way. So I was like, I really wanted to speak to that. So as the show grows and progresses, it's just going to continue to include more content in support of and, loving support of these people.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I started it in 2020, and it's been going well. Sometimes I get a little overwhelmed because I feel like I'm doing it all myself. Like, I do have a lot of really great people to help me, like Cheryl Thomas.
Yes.
Who's wonderful, and there's been some great other people to come through and help. And, I reach out to different folks, but it can just be like, it feels like the bulk of the effort is all me.
Yeah.
And that's a bit overwhelming at times. But it's still something I'm doing.
Well, I have to, first of all, shout out, salute, back the camera up, namaste, all that good stuff. Yes, namaste. I just have to salute you because you're doing a fucking, excuse my language, fantastic. Most people do it the opposite way. I'm working on it, y'all. A fucking fantastic job. Oh my God. Listen, y'all have to go and check out Biscuit Town. First of all, I do not watch a lot of just random, how can I say it, things that don't educate us.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be informed. I'm a nerd. I like to study. When I watched your podcast, first of all, I was so entrenched immediately. It was the belly laugh I needed. Yeah. It's like Brie in full effect. And or it wasn't Brie, parts we saw parts of Brie, parts of, and we'll talk about it, and I love it. And I just felt I felt right at home in my own home, in your community in Baby Biscuit Town, even though I wasn't quite sure of exactly this. But even before I found out, I was like, I want to be a Baby Biscuit. I was like, I want to be a Baby Biscuit. I could feel the love, okay? I'm like, I want to be. And then I just, kept going and going and going as an attestment, not just because I have to do my homework, but I do my homework, and then I do my homework, and then I do my homework. And so I had went way past doing my homework, just enjoying being a part of your community. And I really actually need to apologize, because I'm like, I should have been I was supposed to be a part of Baby Biscuit Town community quite some time ago.
It's not too late. Let's put it that way. I could always use more help.
Amen. Yeah, so all that is said to say, you are definitely not alone.
Thank you.
You're definitely not alone. I'm honored to be a part of anything that you have to do. I was like rewinding. I think I went back your last episode 7, and watched that at least 3 times. Wow. I'm still taking notes. Wow. I'm like, your guest was phenomenal. I'm like, we gotta, whatever it is that we have to do to help you do what you do better is awesome for the community, for our Black and brown. If nothing else, I was thinking of the little girls coming behind you. They're going to learn so much, not just from what you're doing, but from what you're bringing, the light you're bringing. I've learned, I'm taking notes. I'm highlighting. I don't sent people. I went to websites. I've sent it to other people just from watching about 3 of your episodes. And I'm like, okay, Talea, calm down. You're just going to have to come back and watch them and take notes. And no, honestly, my life has been altered. And I'm over here like, well, that was easy.
My gosh. Listen, I just appreciate the recognition whenever it comes. And I'm glad it's impacting people in such a way, because it's like, I guess I started it because I have a film background and I have a theater background, and I like to do, productions. I like to do film, TV. I just have like so many varied interests, but I'm also good at editing. So I felt like, okay, if I do this show, I could put all my little ideas into one package. I'm also passionate about animation. Obviously, there's the interview component. I want to do an on-the-street segment, I just need a crew and everything, but it's cool, I want to get on the streets today and ask important questions,
Yes.
Like, how many Black friends do you have? Like,
I love it.
Some of them are funny questions, but then some of them are like, topical questions. But yeah, I guess also I wanted to, in making the show, since I was the star or the performer, I was like, I'm not finna. Brie is a very shy person in general, very low key, so she doesn't really want to do anything but behind the scenes. But Baby Biscuit is a different character, it's a different story. I kind of came up with the name Baby Biscuit. Like, every time I draw things, like doodle in the margins or however, it's usually this little puffy-haired girl, this little Black girl, and she's a dreamer. She's got little sparkles in her eyes, and it's just very like, it's very fantasy. So I was like, that's Baby Biscuit, and that thus the idea for Baby Biscuit Town. So it's always developing. Like, what's the inspiration? But that's one of them.
Wow, I love it, and I love the manifestations of the alter egos.
Yeah.
In our journey of mental health, I'm just now getting to the point where I can embrace these things and find out the purpose to our alter egos, versus allowing others to, how can I say it? But it's kind of destroy or dismantle, disfigure that part of you, and it has become very much easier to embrace since I've started my journey to self-healing, to nirvana, as I'm learning, or as I just learned. I'm like, what? That's what nirvana means this whole time, nirvana? What? Like, come on. And it's just like my friend said today. Shout out, I salute my friend. God bless you, Kelly. Namaste, my angel. Save me today so I could be here with you right now. But Kelly was reminding me that we just have to keep it simple. Life is really a lot more simple than we give credit. It's quite simple. We complicate it very, very much so. and which is another reason why I'm very glad to have you here. But before I get into my ishy gishy mushy stuff, I was telling somebody else about you because of your show, a new creator here at DATV. But as I was watching, I'm like, I really got to get y'all together. And this is what doing, another part of doing the podcast is connecting and networking other creatives in Dayton. But I wanted to ask, is Trey your brother?
That's right, Trey Hope.
Shout out to
Trey.
Oh, and my little side effects. There you go. Yes.
And I also have another brother, Deshaun Hope.
Okay.
But yeah, Trey and I related.
Okay, and I didn't figure that out, but I guessed because of the name, but the 3D printing. And we have somebody coming here doing all of that. And I'm like,
wow.
Well, yeah. I'm like, well, maybe he can have somebody help him. Maybe you could have somebody like me help you.
Oh, yeah.
And
connections.
Yeah. And the thing is, just wanting to learn. Another producer and I were just talking about it the other day. I was like, we need to figure out how to do this Zoom call in the TV studio, and here you are, and here's Brie, and I'm like, Brie will show me one day.
We're gonna figure that out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen, Captain. But yeah, just connecting, and I'm grateful for the connection to have been brought here at DATV. Y'all know I always tell you to come. Go to datv.org. Get your membership. You have thoughts. You wanted to do something to bring a program to life, to bring your thoughts to air. You just have to do something. And that's a part of the message today. One of the things that we always say is to know better is to do better. Mm-hmm. And Brie, I say scratch that, bump that, throw that in the trash. To do better is to do better. Or as God gave me, it's the doing of the talking. So I want to encourage other creators to make me, and I don't know if you were coming back, or Brie is in the TV studio, not the podcast studio. I was gonna say coming back to the podcast studio, but maybe yes, coming back to let's talk about it.
Sometimes I envy the podcast studio. I'm like, maybe I should just have a podcast because it'd be a little easier.
No, you know what? That's what I was looking at today. I was like, you do a lot for your break, your commercials, from the setup, the interview. I'm like, oh Lord, yes. Yeah. I'm like, you really have to have your show structured to be able to do what you're doing. Yeah. So
we're still working. I still consider this is season 2. I'll be finishing up this year, and it's still the pilot season. It's not, everything is not exactly how I want it. Sometimes I feel like we're still flying by night, and I get in here and I hit record, and whatever's on the hard drive, I'm like, we'll make it work.
Yeah.
But it's like, things still go wrong all the time.
Say not the plan at all. Yeah. But yeah, but somebody asked me that today too, and people do all the time. Like, are you ready for the podcast? And I tell them, there are days I've spent hours getting ready. There are days when I've done absolutely nothing. There are weeks when a little bit comes to me and I'll do a note and, drop and do another note or do a little research or etc. And usually that's how it all comes together, just as a beautiful flower. But when I let people know, it's just orgasmic. Sometimes these things you can't really, it would have been less genuine had I had seen Biscuit Town a year ago and you're just here today. It just would have been, the enthusiasm might not have been the same, etc. The gratitude. I'm just, so everything just happens the way it's supposed to happen. Everything flows the way it's supposed to flow.
Absolutely.
Connections are made when they're supposed to be made.
I'm glad to know you and be on the podcast today. It's an honor. Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. As my kids would say, get into it.
I love that.
Amen. You know what? I'm going to throw in the lesson of the day, which is, real quick, Proverbs 4:23. Solomon said, above all else, and FYI, because I didn't, well, you already know, just in case you want to talk directly to the people, because sometimes I need to talk directly. Say directly to the people. Guard your heart. Above all else, guard your heart. And it was so crazy because my neighbor checkmates me about the podcast, and he's like, "What's the topic?" And normally, I'm like, chill, bruh. It's like next week, But God had already given it to me, and it was before we had confirmed, before we even talked. And let me please, oh my gosh, curtsy, namaste, for you making this such an easy process. Just boom, bam, time, boom, what. I'm like, oh, praise the Lord, hallelujah. Somebody understands.
You definitely made it an easy process too.
You.
I was happy. She made some really cool little flyers to post, and I was like, wow.
My people, shout out to my people, my graphics KOJO in the building, Mr. KOJO SIEGO, yes. Hey, man, that handles my graphics for me. I take no credits for that, except being slightly narcissistic when it comes to the details. It's a good thing we're not on, but I'm like, wait. And this time, because of time, I'm like, you didn't use the other. We didn't use both pictures and this and that. But I thank God, the people I have, God is helping me to build a team that can deal with me, and that's a big thing. That's one of the things James taught me. You being in the beginning stages, or all of us being in the beginning stages, which made me think of Trey as well, just being in the octopus arms, having to do everything ourselves, and yet having the tenacity to see the vision through. It's a big deal. Yeah. I salute you again for that.
Absolutely.
I can't not enough, because there's a mission to our mantra. The freedom that you display in Baby Biscuit Town is what I'm like, you need a virtual Baby Biscuit world, which is why you need to meet Mr. Meet the Matrix. I'm like, well, y'all, we need to do this. But yeah, it just felt like it's something that other people definitely need to know about. So I'm honored. I'm going to shut up. We're going to talk about it for sure.
Maybe you can speak on, you were saying, like, community, building a team. What's the importance of, like, knowing when to ask for help and reaching out to people? Because that's something I struggle with, where it's like, I low-key would love to just duplicate myself and have about 3 or 4 of me working all the time. Because, I don't know, I don't like to burden people. I don't like to, like, ask people for help usually, but sometimes I got to break down and just be like, I need some help with this. I can't do this whole thing myself.
To be honest with you, Brie and my journey, that's almost number one. That was my first indication that I was really in trouble, because I had refused to ask for help because there was no help. There simply was no help, and there seemingly still seems like there is no help, except there is. It seems that way. The first thing is that we have to change our perspective, thinking that we actually are capable of doing it all on our own. And in spurts, and if we drag it out and cut it up and this and that, yes, we can. But in our reality, we're never meant to. We're not meant to, and we're not walking in our full authenticity when we're still at the stage of, well, I can and I will do it all by myself. It's not until we open ourselves up to say, the heck I can and the heck I will, and the God of the universe, send some help. Help. That's one of my book titles I'm going to do. It's literally help. Just help, yes. And you'll begin to attract those people to you. And it won't be a struggle. It won't be, I need the help. It'll be, the help is here. Now what you want me to do, boo? Hey girl, hey, I got your back. Hey, I go. That's one of my little new hooks. I got shucky ducky quack quack. I got your back. Speaking of which, you got bars. Oh my God. Yo, Brie has bars. I'm like, shut up. You have bars.
You found me.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I'm like starting to stalk you. Yes, today. Look, you got bars.
It all comes through when it's like I'm another character. It's like when I'm me, it's true that I do rap. I don't know why I don't put that out so much, because it'd be like there's so many rappers, and I'm not going to say like I want to do this as a profession, but it's just like I write things in my iPhone that rhyme.
I love it.
So it's fine.
I love it.
Most of the time, I'm like trying to tell a story or convey a point. Like you're speaking about little dyke ass nigga, the rap, the baby buns.
Yes, let's talk about it.
That was like, you know, I was like, okay.
Where's the buttons when I need them?
As you know, as a part of, like you said, being fearless. Not at all.
Right.
Being fearless or free on the program, I was like, I want to talk about being queer. So, you know, I came up. I'm always like writing little raps in my phone all the time, generally. But that one in particular, I was like, this is like the coming out one.
Yes.
That really speaks to, you know, it's on my heart. And so Baby Buns the Freak delivered that in season 2, the latest episode. You can check it out. It's also on Instagram.
I love it.
But yeah, I think other characters will rap and they will speak their truth in various ways. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I'm trying to find all the phones that are ringing. Oh, Lord. Okay, I got 2 out of 3, I think. Anywho, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Look, should have been prepared for that. That was something like a big deal, though. When I saw the episode, and you just straight up, and I don't know if it was one of the first seasons, though. I think it was one of your first episodes, or I don't know if it was.
There was another little rap. It's called, I called it the hot shit, but I was like, somebody tell me that I'm not going to last, but they stand there like a sin without tasks. We all be feeling like a blast from the past. If you won't speak, then just kiss my ass. Because I'm passive and shy, I do not know why. I say I'm a dyke, they laugh till I cry.
Yes.
But never a hoe, I know that for sure. Try pimping me out and you'll get let go. I had written that one after like someone had come into the Neon where I work, and they were like, I'm gonna pimp you out. It's like, I'm gonna make you my bitch. It's like, clearly I'm already employed, sir. But I was like,
clearly. I was like, what?
I don't know. I was disturbed by that on a number of levels, but I was just like, that's kind of how that idea came about. But it's like, sometimes I get tired of people. They look at me, I'm small, I'm petite, I'm brown, and they think they could just roll all over me. And it's like, hello, I'm a person.
Yeah. Period. And you know what? I was like, that is powerful.
Yeah.
With just the words, you know, like we can mix something, put something to that. And music is my first love, so I'm like, okay, Brie, I hear you.
I gotta work on having like a backing track, because a lot of it's just a cappella, and then I'll add, because I mentioned The Sims, I just had like The Sims 3 pictures. So it depends. What I put in there is just all the stuff in my mind, all the little. I grew up on anime and cartoons and video games and like being not status quo.
So, how old are you? Speaking of,
well, I have my 28th birthday coming up this November 1st.
Say that, Scorpio. November 1st. Oh, happy birthday! Woo! Yes, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, praise the Lord. Amen. I always get the buttons jacked up, but anywho, I'm excited for you. Yes, happy 28th early birthday. Amen. Whatever you're gonna do it. To the glory, to the honor of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, whatever that is, even if it's just eating ice cream and socks and doing nothing, turning your phone off, whatever. Make sure you love yourself. Going back to what we're gonna be talking about.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, in a minute, but with what's asking for help? Yeah, you do. You just have to be. I would say my first piece of advice with that too is to pray for help. That that God would send you like-minded people that you don't have to chive with. Kind of what like your brother was talking about. This is your baby. You want to take your time building it, and you don't want to make the mistake like I have and just let anybody in your universe because they're willing or able, just because they have the skills, but that aren't on the same vibration as you. So I would pray, I would fast and pray about it. That God would send you the help that you need, in particular, depending on where your vision is. If you've got a vision that, you don't really need, it's not that important for you to have help, and you can octopus this thing out till you burn out, well, then you just go right on ahead. And, otherwise, I would make a list and sit down and think of some people that might want to take advantage of this opportunity.
I've reached out to a couple editors already, Ishmael McKinney, Lee Bird. I was just like, hey,
Yeah.
I need help.
Yes. Yes.
So, but you're right. You know, it takes courage. It takes, I don't know. You gotta swallow your pride a little bit and understand that you can't be the octopus.
Yeah. Take some humility. Yeah, to say, and you don't want to, and you don't want to wait till the last minute, till we do burn out as human beings. The reality is we just get tired, and you don't want to lose your passion by, chiving away, and just, and losing the zeal as to why you do what it is that you do. So, and to be honest, even if we just get help here and there, it's still better.
It is.
It's still better. It's like, hey, if you could just do this one little part, that's why I'm like, people don't realize it, but just the fact that I don't really have to worry about doing my flyers every week, that's a load. I was just telling somebody today, I'm like, shoot, even after the flyer part is done, I still have to post it and send them out and stuff. I'm like, that's a whole yes.
Yep. That's a whole nother job.
Can you imagine doing the flyer and then the person's still like not, hey girl, get your life together now.
Right.
So that's my first thing. I'm like, the first, Lord, please. I'm like, let me LLC this bad boy so I can go to the college and get some volunteers or something. But however, wherever. And the thing is, you'll stay humble because you'll have to keep asking, depending on the vision. And because life. Even when you get some help, somebody will come in and they'll be able to help for 6 months, and then they're moving or moving on or starting their own. And okay, we got to keep going, but keep going. Let me just say that. Yes, look. Seriously, no, keep going. Keep going. Keep going and going and going. Keep going because you're making it a difference. And for example, like I saw that you supporting, and not just with your mouth and not just with your show, because y'all know what I say. Listen, it costs to be the boss. You put your money where your mouth is, helping to stop police brutality, bringing light to that with one of the artists. I think Coffee. I'm learning.
Yes.
Yeah, but talk about it.
Okay, so I did a little segment on the premiere, season 2 premiere, Sweet Lady Coffee. Because she's a great artist out of Jamaica, Original Coffee, and I really enjoy her work.
Yes.
But even earlier this year, I did a thing called, animated short called Alternatives to Police, and I did this with in cooperation with Pretrial Justice Institute, and it was really great. I was a part of a grant. We got to premiere the film along with 3 other pieces, myself, Mariah, Leroy, Deontay, other local artists. We premiered this at the Neon in July, and it was a really great time, and it was really I don't know.
Send me the link.
Absolutely.
You need to do a watch party here.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yes. Say relaunch. See? It's coming together. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, no, that was definitely something, even in doing the research for that and understanding, sometimes you say defund the police and people bristle oh, we need the police. That's a scary idea. We don't want to get rid of them. It's not that we're eliminating the institution, but we're trying to take some of those funds and allocate them to other organizations that could better respond to certain situations, unlike the police, because sometimes the police bring an element of force and,
and an element of fear.
An element of fear.
Can we say that? Let's. One of my friends said something, and I told him something about the police drive past, and I got nervous or something, and I told them, and I have what I call now the trauma drama alert. Let people know what is going on with you. Trauma drama, okay? I'm not. This is not personal. Trauma drama alert. TDA. Hey. Okay, sorry, TDA. And that way you'll let the person with you understand, okay, I just went into a trance or something just happened to me. I just shut down. I just became nervous. Because these things, trauma affects you physically. So long story short, the police drove by and I tensed up for a second. And I had to talk about it to get it off of me, but let them know. I'm like, I'm fine. I have to remind myself that your license is fine. I tell myself you are a contributing citizen. Like, you work with the kids in your community. Like, what are you, but it's trauma. And to this day, I just get flashbacks from the trauma, from the actual traumatic experiences that I've had with police. And so people, drama alert. Y'all can listen, steal it, borrow it, take it. Drama alert. Okay. Trust me. Trey, is that your brother's name?
Yes.
Trey and Chris, we need that on a T-shirt, on some keychains, on a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, drama alert for the wristbands for the kids, for the community. Yes, drama alert.
That's so important to be able to share. Like, okay, this is what I'm experiencing, because I think sometimes we experience trauma and then we hide it, and we just feel like, I don't know, it's our burden to bury it or to carry it or something. And it's like, well, no, it's good to be able to talk about it because we're all going through it.
Yeah. So. Especially in public, because it's like some things, hit people differently, and you may freeze or tense up, and people are like, what's wrong with you? Well, what just happened to you? Right. You were just fine 5 seconds ago. Mm-hmm. That's drama alert, and I thank God for giving it to me that way, so that we can be receptive on both ends and say, even because some people don't know what's going on with them, they don't understand that it's trauma. They have yet to get to that point. So us being the healers can say, did something just remind you of something that happened to you before? Right. And we can make it simple and easy for people to open up and release, because talking about it is definitely a part of that self-care. Oh, it's definitely a part of it. So help, we're going to pass that on. But yes, just ask. And here's the part about it. This is the thing. You have to excuse my language. I'm going to do this first. Emotionally fuck yourself and tell yourself that the worst thing that could happen is they're going to tell you no. Mm-hmm. And being someone like me, depending on the passion that you bring to the table, you kind of let people know I don't take no's. So you make a strategic quest as to who you even ask. Because a first no, okay, no, but let me tell you this part. Trust me, when it comes to my kids, I'm not taking no's. Speaking of which, Brie, I need you.
Okay.
Yes, Brie. So I will be, and I am cultivating and literally starting over from scratch with the nonprofit, thanks to my mentors. Shout out to Score Dayton. Score.org. Y'all go to score.org. Entrepreneurs and business creatives, those that have not want to do nonprofits, etc. Just want to upbuild your community, for profit or without. We need people in the community, building the community. Score.org, SCORE.org. Starting over from scratch with the nonprofit. Long story short, but they are teaching me how to build my board of directors, and I'm learning so much about stuff that I didn't even know. I knew I needed a board. I didn't know I needed committees, and I need this and I need that, and so I'm asking you now. I don't know how I need you, but I need you.
Hey, I'm all about that. That sounds like a really good thing to be involved in. Like,
thank you.
Already, I like to help Y.O.L.O, if you're familiar.
No.
Young Ladies Aspiring Greatness. Miss Cheryl Stroud. No, Sherelle. I'm sorry, because there's another Cheryl. But anyway, Sherelle Stroud, she made it. Young Ladies Aspiring Greatness. They have a show on DATV and online and different things. So I like to help with what they're doing. YWCA, incredible organization. I like to help with what they're doing. It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So get out there, folks. You know what I'm saying? Contribute. There's a drive right now. Definitely always helping the children. Yes. They are our future.
Yes. Amen.
So, but I think it's so great that you're making a committee, because I feel like I'm still like a serial volunteer where every time somebody asks me to do something, I say yes. And then when I have 30 things to do, I'm like dying. I'm like, but
can't do that anymore.
Yeah, sometimes you got to just be able to know when to say no, because I know we were going to talk about healthy boundaries on today's podcast, and that's sometimes where it's like you shouldn't always feel like obligated or like nobody else can do it, so I have to say yes or anything. Like, self-care is very important. You got to prioritize that.
Absolutely.
So knowing when to be like, okay, maybe next time.
Absolutely.
Or maybe I can help you this other way.
Or once a year. Or listen, I'm not going to be on your board not going to be on your committee, but I got this or I got that. Whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. And just being honest about that, that's so important. That is so important because I was a classic people pleaser where I would try to do anything and everything and just fall apart. And none of my stuff would ever get done. Ever, ever.
Yep.
To the point now, which is where I'm finally at. It's like, no more pleasing anybody. Oh, well, love you, except, yeah, but I love you.
Yeah.
You know, now I want to whisper it. But yeah, no, because I have to get these things done because these things that we're doing are way bigger than us. You know, what you're doing and bringing the light to artistry and the freedom going back to that. And I was wondering. I was like, Lord, can we talk about it? What? Because I didn't give you a heads up or anything. But I'm like, who gives people a heads up when they do a podcast, right? Can we talk about the sexuality, which you just brought up in the bars? Thank you for the freedom.
Yay.
Thank you for the love. Yes. So, because I wanted to tell you after watching your show, I was in the bathroom. I had to run out the bathroom. I'm like, shut up. Yes, go, Brie, go. But I just confessed to my daughter sometime this week, that I am bisexual. Yes. And she, you know what? Let me pause for myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. After being raised in a Pentecostal holiness, Bible thumping, stomping church. Amen. Thank you. God bless my church, my old church. Yes, in my old teaching and training, I love the Lord and I thank God for it. However, I'm bringing it up because that was a major plight in dealing with my mental health. Trying to pray the gay away, as we say. Oh, my dear sweet baby Jesus. I couldn't fast and pray the gay away enough. Now, I could fast and pray and I could tell you your whole life. I could fast and pray and tell you what was wrong with you. I could fast and pray and tell you which part of your body was aching. God would show me all kind of stuff that I could fast and pray, and it's recorded since I was a child. But I could never fast and pray the gay or the depression away, girl.
Depression.
Just
push the button.
This is my pulpit. I'm ready to run around the church, girl. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And other people more powerful than me were supposed to be able to do it too. They laid hands on me. They surrounded me in circles, and they prayed and they spit and they sweat and they cried and I cried and I laid on the floor and I closed my eyes and I went into a trance and I woke up and guess what? I'm still fucking depression.
Oh yeah.
Woo! Oh yeah. Oh, and I was still slightly gay, except I love my penis. So you know. Yeah. And if it wasn't for the experience of having had sex with the man, because of pain, I probably would go all the way. But I'm like, nah, I like them both. I'd rather have everything I want. I guess I'm selfish and narcissistic.
No.
We'll talk about that too.
I don't
But
think
yes,
that.
please help me with my journey.
Oh,
honestly.
Well, okay. As far as like why I wanted to be transparent on the show about my sexuality is because I don't know, for the longest time it was like, well, I know it, so I don't have to tell anyone. And I was just living like it's so, but I don't celebrate it or acknowledge it or emphasize it in any particular way. And I was like, that's not exactly how I want to go about it. Because things that you're proud of and things you're open about, you just say them. Just like, I'm a black person. I'm happy to be a black person. I'm a queer person. I'm happy to be a queer person. So I just wanted to like take that on a little bit more and say, you know, this isn't a bad thing. So I don't know why I'm hiding it. So yes. And I wanted other people like yourself, bisexual, just everybody on the spectrum to feel really comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Transgender, like all sorts of different people. Like we're not a monolith. Black women.
Let me say this. I know we have a lot of education out there, a lot of things on the internet, but to be honest, in the black community, we really don't understand. So I'm asking, not just for my black ignorance, and I'm very open about being proud, black, educated, and ignorant as fuck. Excuse my language. Yes. Okay? Honestly, because I'm like, we're proud, black, and educated. I have 2 degrees, and I don't know nothing about nothing. And I just realized that coming into my journey and really trying to get to know other walks of life, really trying to get to understand other paths, really trying to heal and be healed. You have to be open to things you've never been open to. Yeah. And you realize, I don't know nothing. I spent $80,000 on a private education and I don't know shit. Why? Because I haven't really experienced life, first of all, freely, openly, and authentically me. I would remember sitting on the couch one day talking to a friend, Brie, about this conversation, and I just finally asked them, because I have this thing where I call confessions. I was like, am I bisexual? And they were like, yes. And I was like, and I was like, duh.
At least your friends know.
Fine. Thank God for true friends. Thank God for my friends. For true friends. You have to have true friends in your life, yes, that will speak up and that will speak to you regardless, that will hurt your feelings. The scripture says, faithful are the wounds of a friend. But yes, but let me not ADHD all the way around. Let me bring my Bentley back today. Okay. This drop top Bentley. Yeah. Let me bring it back. And can you break down to those of us that don't understand? And we do have viewers here and there and everywhere, international and old folks, and some that are translating that don't speak English. But what does it mean to be queer? What do your bars mean? Help us.
What do my bars mean? Okay, it's like I'm queer in that I love women, especially black women. Yeah, I love them. They're great.
Yeah, me too.
I have it's like a spiritual thing, because it's like I really identify with that. We're like the bottom of the earth.
Yeah.
Like the last person on the totem pole is the black woman. But I love that, like, underdogness.
Yeah.
Right? So I really appreciate and root for it, and just in all of its different facets, in every way that I see it. And sometimes it's heterosexuality. I'm not opposed. I just love black women.
Yeah.
I love them.
I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. I know you talking about language.
but yeah, so I guess it really starts with that. But then, like, my queerness is like, I'm a lesbian, but then sometimes I don't feel like a woman. I definitely feel more non-binary. I've not fully, like, adopted this or come out.
Break it down. Listen, for dummies, I tell everybody, break it down for dummies now with the binary. Help us.
Oh, well, it's like, I want to be this individual named Howie. So they are neither man nor woman. I kind of think of them more as a boy, which I know that throws people. You're like, well, you're an adult. And it's like, I get it. But it's like this individual in my head, they're like a teenager living in the 1920s. Okay. It's hard to explain. Okay. But it's like Howie.
But that's a part of the binary process. That breaks it. Okay.
To help me just to visualize, like, who's this person I am. Yeah. But it's like, they're kind of almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like Howie is the ultimate dreamer, like a very sweet soul, quiet as hell, but doesn't really disturb anyone, doesn't really come for anyone, just doing their thing. And they're they, them, and yeah, they're just this little light, delightful individual, very fantasy, you know.
Yeah. So, very ready for the world. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
I love it.
Queerness. That's the thing. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Like little happy Howie. That's the third character, and we're still developing him. There's one skit we have, little happy homeowner, because Howie wants to own a home, and he's like perplexed, like, why don't more black people own homes? And I don't know. It's like very like, I don't know. The skit that I have in mind is kind of like Mr. Rogers or Bob Ross.
Say Mr. Rogers.
And Howie walks in like, hi, how are you?
We were just talking about that. Yeah. I love it. And you know what I love the most is that the part of this process that you're still evolving, or we are still evolving. We're all still evolving. But that makes it so, just the visualization of that, because now I'm more entrenched in your world. And we just talked about that in the beginning, because I'm like, I haven't met Howie. Now I get it. Yay. Now I get it. I'm here with you. Yay. And that's what the people need to see. We want to, that's what I feel like being a creative is all about, is making it so relevant, so visual, that we really bring you into our world so that you really truly can understand what it is that we've seen, experienced, gone through, or if nothing else, a thought or a mindset afterwards. Let me create something that brings you to this thought and this mindset that may help you to realize or be open to something that you've never thought of or been open to before.
Absolutely.
You know, I heard those bars in your line about being, and I'm going to shut up so we can talk about self care and healthy boundaries, but about being pimped out. And the crazy part is, Brie, I'm an ex pimp.
Wow.
And so I say that to say, like, I still have days in my mind where I have to be like, nope, no pimping today. Nope. No, 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 no.
Wow.
Oh no, we're not. No, no, she's married.
That's deep.
We're yes, we're not doing. And it's so crazy because even before I came here today, somebody called me, trying to set me up for like not like necessarily a blind date, but a date. And shout out to Kevin Samuels. I got some material for you, brother, but I'll holler at you later. I have mixed feelings about Kevin. However, like most, but how was that? Oh Lord, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I like a particular. If I'm gonna date, I date bosses, and so I'm like, don't put me in a position for the ex pimp to come back out. And I'm sorry, but some of us, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, shout out to transition conversation, not for whatever reason, because of the things that we've been through and what has happened to us, we simply can't invite ourselves to go into certain territories because we will take advantage of that situation. Period.
For sure.
I have to date bosses. We'll talk about that more later. But yes, because I'm like, bruh, I will have bruh, boo boo, and yada yada, and I'm like, I don't want to be that person. That's the old manipulative, narcissistic person that was and that was on a rampage before I started this path to help in healing, not knowing that the things that I've been through, the trauma, the drama, the dilemma, have caused me to be that ex-pimp. Now, I won't necessarily, I'm not throwing it all in the trash. We're writing a movie about it because, like you said, like with Howie, if people really knew some of the stuff that was in my head, one of my friends is producing, I won't give it all away, but Confessions of a Narcissistic. And talking about healthy boundaries is what I'm going to piggyback on today and give it to you. But, just that the person, the real deep alter ego in me, my mother says you have when I speak Trini, she's like, yeah, it's split personality. And the alter ego in me, or the narc in me, is like, one, bitch, I got people in here I never even met yet. I'm still interviewing these motherfuckers, okay? like who's trying to get the next show? Let's go. Now that, especially now that I'm open to really getting to know me, and that's just a part of the process. It's like one of my creations is, no, it's 50 Shades of Leia. It's 50 Shades of me, baby. Trust me. And some of them you don't ever want to see. But one of my affirmations going into one of your podcasts, and you let us know do some affirmations. One of them is, I am free. I'm finally free to be the me you never wanted to see.
Wow, say
that includes Howie. That includes this in this movie. Listen, when I drop this movie on y'all,
I can't wait to see that movie.
And the book, I said in the book too. I said, yeah, we're gonna have to do some confessions, some real life confessions. But with that being said, let the dark side. That's one of these things that I'm really realizing in the self-care. Embracing the dark side, however you want to do it. Write it down, visualize it, use it to create something positive for the future. Use it to change the world. Make it a better place.
For sure.
But do something with it for sure. One of my things today. But I want to give it back to you and let you talk to us or start our conversation, and we can back and forth it with healthy boundaries and self-care in our community, in the Black community. What the hell is healthy boundaries?
Right.
And what the heck is self-care?
Well, I want to say I'm no expert. It's hard to master.
Yes.
And I think, like you mentioned, just in the Black community, it's hard to set those healthy boundaries. We're all struggling in different ways, and we feel like we've got to be there for each other, especially women. But it's like just knowing what you believe and what you want, and putting that before everybody else's needs and wants, and knowing when to say no because you actually don't want to do that thing, you know, and being okay with saying no and not feeling guilty or bad or obligated, but saying like, nope, not for me, no thank you. You know, like whatever that may be.
Yeah.
And so how do we establish that? Like, who are we outside of other people? And
ooh, that's so deep. Ooh, that was heavy. Who are we outside of other people?
That's a hard one. It's a hard one.
That's the $1 million question.
Yeah.
That's what self-love, that's the root.
I believe so. And getting to that understanding, and then, you know, hopefully loving yourself. And then you want to take care of yourself. Like, if you think of yourself as a best friend, like, not you, because like when you're you, sometimes it's like like you just put yourself on the back burner. It's okay to just like not worry about what you want or need or what's important to you or what makes you comfortable. But it's like, think of yourself outside of yourself. If you were looking at yourself like a best friend, like, you know this person named Brie or Howie, and they're like, you know, a good person. Think about it like that. Be like, how would you want to treat that best friend? Is it kind to neglect them? Is it kind to, like, you know, disregard their feelings? And think about how you're dealing with yourself in those terms, and then maybe like giving yourself more love and care. It's gonna be important.
Yes. Yes.
But I struggle too, guys.
Say that. I tell folks all the time, and y'all, this is to encourage, okay? We are not putting our stamp or our seal on anything, but to encourage and to really foster a desire to seek the truth.
Exactly.
If nothing else, that's what this podcast is. Listen, and it is evolving as I evolve. But yes, to continue to seek truth for yourself, that's self-care.
Yeah.
What is your truth? What is your truth? And then once you figure out what your truth is, i.e., TALEYA, Lakita Noble, I am bisexual. When you find out what your truth is, then you can walk in it. It no longer holds you. I'm no longer trapped by the church now. Baby, listen, I ain't got to preach at your church. I got my own podcast. I can preach over here. Thus saith the Lord. Proverbs 4:23. Guard your heart. Guard your heart. Boom. Or thus saith the Lord, and we can keep going, and we can keep going, and we can keep going. Y'all know me. Preachers always preaching. We not new to this. We true to this. This is it, though. And it took, you were going to say something. Say it.
I was going to say, I love how you can still be religious and appreciate your sexuality. And it's sometimes you encounter religious people, and it's just like, well, you just have to be straight. And that's all there is. But it's like, you know what? No, I'm this, and I'm still Christian. And, you know, that's lovely.
Thank you. It took me to the point of putting an actual Glock to my head. To get to this point, it took me several battles with suicidal ideations and thoughts, and it took me, when I say reaching out for help, not, hey, I need your help. No, I need your help. I need your help. Hold my hand and help me up just to get back on my feet. I told my daughter, some days I walk, some days I crawl. Some days I run, some days I walk, some days I crawl. But as long as you keep moving, the thing about it, and I thank you for the compliment, but it took me having a real conversation, a real relationship with God. The scripture says it was good that I had been afflicted. And it was good that everybody that I knew, Brie, you don't know much of my story, and I'm not going to get deep into it, but I've experienced homelessness. I've been ostracized. I'm the black sheep of my family. I've been molested by several family members, by men in the church. Trust me, the book and the movie is going to be off the chain. You will get a signed copy. Okay.
All right. I'm excited.
I'm no longer trying to kill myself, trying to hide what these folks did to me. And so a part of all of this is, yes, I am, and I can say it out loud, and I can confess who it is that I am as I've reinvented And I didn't even think that that was it. My sister just pointed it out to me the other day. She said, I'm so proud of you for reinventing yourself. And I'm like, what? Somebody else noticed that I'm over here changing and evolving. But just to use the word reinvented. And I'm like, actually, you damn Skippy.
I like that.
You know what, sis? Yeah, you dang Skippy.
Yeah.
You're right. Because sometimes the world will see you in your condition. Or, for example, they'll see Brie and be like, whatever. Or they'll see TALEYA and be like, psh, yeah, but little do you know the Divine Queen Supernova. I thought I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
I feel like sometimes black women are part ghost. Like we have that just like could literally be invisible.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I just shout out to, I think it's Make a Star Productions. I just auditioned, I think it was last week or so, for a play that Mr. Cordell was doing. And I'm sitting and, you know, that the lower vibration self is telling me, oh, you can't act, blah, blah, blah. And that part of me and you said on your podcast, I love being a black woman or something of that nature.
Yeah.
Comes up and it rises up and it's like, girl, you've been acting your whole damn life. What is you talking about? If you don't go in there and knock this out the park and tell the Lord thank you.
Fantastic.
Yes, because like you said, because of that ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we go back to trauma in childhood, if you go to, I know one of your mantras is the patriarchy, changing, knocking down, pulling down. And I'm like, oh, yes. Yes, Lord, thank you. Like-minded people, pray. Hallelujah, yes. Okay, and it's what was the point of me bringing that? But it's I'm gonna shut up and just let you get to the meat. But yeah, I get so excited. But Brie, let's before the time winds up, hit us with any of your tools for self-care. What are boundaries? What are some of your boundaries? Help us. Look, help.
Tools for self-care.
Yes.
Like meditation.
Absolutely.
I don't want to say like I do it every day because sometimes I slip up.
Yes.
But I think it's like, okay, sit with yourself in this world that is like so fast-paced. Everything from the internet, all of these obligations, things we have to do, job, work, school. Take some time. It doesn't even have to be long to start. If you can 5-10 minutes at the start or the end of the day, just sit with yourself. You might put on a song you like, you know, something without lyrics, something kind of low key, but just to say, just to breathe and feel what's inside of you. Okay, like this is how the realizations and the things happen when you can just settle your mind, like it's like a glass of dirty water and you're just letting all the sediment kind of sift to the bottom. And then you can see things a little more clearly. So that's like step one. Then you know, you might start to ask the hard questions like, well, why can't I say no? Or, you know, why do I always feel obligated? Or why do I always feel guilty? Why do I want everybody to like me? Like these things you'll start to sift through when you can sit with yourself for long enough. And then maybe you start to say, well, I want to change that. I want to love myself. And certain other self-care is just like, I like taking a nice shower or bath and using like shea butter and associated products. I like to just get out in nature. I like to take a hike every once in a while. I get lost in the forest in Yellow Springs for hours.
You know, Yellow Springs.
It's beautiful. John Bryan State Park. But, you know, wherever you choose to go, like just breathe the fresh air for a bit. Gardening is a good thing, you know. Like, there's a million different options. You can look it up depending on your interest. Maybe that's not something you're interested in, but there's other ways of just saying, like, I want to do this activity and I want to do it fully, mindfully, presently, not like checking my phone every 5 seconds or like thinking of all these other things. Just be like, this is for me to relax, to see myself.
You know, one of the things I like that you said about it was just sit with yourself. When you say meditate, some people run like it's too complicated, it's too deep, or it's too hard. And I embrace and really love the way that you've honed it. Just sit with yourself. Sit with yourself, you know, calm yourself, love yourself. And what I'm learning about meditation is that it is the motherfucking gift that keeps on giving. It keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Brie, it keeps giving and giving and giving. it's like, okay, even if you don't necessarily do it every day, you get in a routine, you do it. It comes up, it rises to the occasion. When adverse conditions come, where Talea or Lakita would have took your head off. Okay, ate it for lunch, spit it out, gave it back to you, molded that, put it on a stand, and gave it to you as a gift. Made a little bobblehead. Okay, with that for the ex-pimp.
Wow.
As a reminder, I like to teach lessons once. Okay. But this new Zenful me, the divine queen, and God gave me that, queen. However, break it down, whichever part, is in such a different place because I've sat with myself. But even if you don't do it every day, it's still gonna have an effect on you. Is the point? It's still gonna rise to the occasion. You'll still begin to see the effects of it, and what happens is the more you do it, the more effects you'll have. It's like a bank. It really literally is like making a bank deposit, and you're getting interest, but it's more like Bitcoin. You're getting more of an interest like right now, than waiting, and you have a well to spring from. It's one of those. Thank you, Holy Spirit. What is that? The retirement plan at the end.
The IRA?
The IRA.
401k?
Yes.
Yeah.
401k, all that good stuff. You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Yes. I put in 10. You put in 10, I put in 20. That's meditation. Or you put in 10, I put in 10. However, but meditation it's not fair. If you put in 10, the God of the universe going to put in 20. Trust me, you're going to be straight. And you keep going and going and going. And even if you suck out 20, which is, hence, you have to make it a lifestyle. You have to keep doing it.
Right.
So you do have something to pull from in those times of stress and adversity in any and all kind of ways. I was just looking at the car situation, and I remember the first thing out of my mouth, I literally breathed, exhaled, and I was like, thank you, Lord. That was the first thing out of my, what? Was thank you? And I'm sitting on the side of the road blocking traffic. I'm like, girl, you are coming along. You're something else. And sometimes you do. My sister taught me that self-praise is no praise. But if I had a conversation with my sister now, I would tell her bullshit. Because, hey, I had to be like, you know what, girl, that is, as God told me, a little progress goes a long way. Mm-hmm. And it does. It really does.
I love everything you just said about that. Self-praise is so important. It's kind of like you said about affirmations. Like, for whatever reason, we'll do the world, and we won't say anything about it. We'll just be like, I was supposed to. But it's like, no, you should celebrate that and be like, well, I got that done. This is great. Like, or even in the bad times, in the worst times, being able to find the good is so important. Yes. But, yeah. Yeah,
I had a friend, somebody just finished their DATV certification. I'm like, that's a big deal. Let's celebrate. Yeah. Every little thing along the way, I celebrate. You finish reading the book, and it doesn't have to be outrageous. It can be, you know what, I'm going to eat some ice cream this week. Or I'm going to treat myself to Chipotle. Or you know what, I'm going to freaking call Brie and see what the heck she's doing just because. I'm going to finally do that Zoom conference. Or, you know what, I'm going to reach out and find another movie to audition for. Celebrate. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to color tonight. One of my favorite things to do, me and my daughter used to do it too. Listen, Chipotle, I love my Chipotle, or even when she was going, Chipotle, a bottle of wine, and Sex in the City. And I'm like, this is a great night. I don't need anything or anybody. I am Gucci. Fantastic. Yeah. And me and my daughter used to have a TV day today watching The Voice. And just find something that you love, that you don't do all the time, that you can make a celebration. Make a little celebration list. I deserve to celebrate. Yes. Let me write that down. That's off the dome. We're going to make a little celebration list. It'll be our homework. If you make you a celebration list, holla at your girl. Tell us where you're putting on your celebration list. Comment below, all that good stuff. Y'all know I'm horrible with that, but I want to know. I want to know. And tell us. And let me just, while I'm at it, let me shout out to 427 Beast. Thank you for your subscription. God bless you. Listen, yes, say that. Hey, okay. Listen, it's because of y'all we're still here today. And I mean that. I'm not joking. I have people that I don't even know, Brie, when I'm like low. And I'm like, excuse my language, this podcast, okay? And they're like, nope, keep going. Somebody's watching, or you're doing a great job, or, somebody just said something today, and I'm like, Mama Kathy, you watching? Just for one person to say good job, or keep going. It's like little words. You don't know how much your support and your encouragement means to somebody. So I just want to take the time. I said, I'm going to start acknowledging the people, man. We have to acknowledge the people, we are more alike, as we say, than we know. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing. Somebody asked me the other day, well, something about how do I stay in this place with the healing? And as a healer, when you can get so frustrated because, like, for example, some of my family is just like, X-Nay, you do yoga, you're the devil. Okay, that's fine.
Yoga?
Girl, you don't know what I go through. I try to encourage people to live a healthy life. My stepfather has cancer, and I remember sending him this list of herbs that you need, and he blocks me because I sent him a list of herbs, and I was like, dude,
that's incredible.
Like, this is gonna, I'm like, you know what? I get it. I get it. 'Tis life. Yeah. Everybody, and that's a part of my healing process, everybody does not want what you have, nor are they obligated to take it. Mm-hmm. Some people are comfortable living their life. It takes work. Self-care takes work, honey.
It does.
Hey, let's pause on that note. Self-care, I'm learning about it.
No, but I love that.
Work. It takes work, and you have to tell yourself to fuck yourself. Excuse my language at the F-bombs today. Oh, well, because this is serious, and you have to be like, no, I'm sorry. Oh, you're going for a walk. Oh, yes, you are. Bet you are. As a matter of fact, put your shoes on right now, girl. Yep. Oh, actually, you had enough meat this week. Mm-hmm. Let's eat a salad tonight. That's what we gonna do. No, that's exactly what you're gonna do. You made the salad. Now you're gonna eat the salad. Sometimes, Brie, the other alter ego in me, the pimps me and lets me know, no, you're gonna do that yoga. No, you're not gonna have Brie waiting on you forever, ever.
I was not Andre 3000, guys. I was not waiting forever.
I love you so much already. I did better. And here's the thing, and that's the key. Better is good, as my nephew would say. I did better today than I did last week.
There it is.
Ooh, Rosie can testify. And better is good. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, accept it until you start doing something. You won't know where you are to even be able to evaluate how much better you need to get. And you have to acknowledge the fact that, ooh, I suck on this part in order to even work on it. Yeah. Can you imagine me grandiosely walking in here at, whatever time, like, bloop, doo, 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 and not even, and there was a time where I was. And I thank God for the ATV. Y'all my new church. Listen, there was a young lady here. I can't think of her name right now, but I have shouted out. She is on my podcast, and she has a show here. And hopefully it'll come to me. But our first encounter was, she's like, you're not walking in integrity. If you can't be on time, you're not walking in integrity. And I'm thinking I'm integrous. Mm-hmm. And she's no, you're not, because you have a lack of consciousness when it comes to not just your time, other people's time. And I'm like,
yeah.
But thank God I was already in the place where I was open to receive. And it was like, powerful, beautiful, older black woman punched me in the face, and I'm now forever grateful. And probably a year later, I'm like, fuck, I'm still running late. But guess what? Now I actually care, and I'm conscious of it.
That's important.
Before, it was my signature.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I'm not going unless I'm late. What? But guess what? Hey, shout back out. Hey, Oprah, holla at me, girl. Shout back out to Oprah. What happened to you? My mother was late everywhere. We were late everywhere. We never were on time. Like physical sound effects. It was embedded in my head to be late. Now it's like, oh, you want to be a billionaire? What your ass better learn how to do, powerful black woman, is be on time.
That's important.
Oh my God.
But it's interesting, like you said, like that's how you learned it, so it wasn't really an issue.
Right? Who knew?
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, but I'm late sometimes too. It happens.
Yeah, and I'm using that as one of my examples, but just to show how, those generational lessons that are passed down. Domestic violence, for example. You brought that up with the awareness, and I am a domestic violence survivor. Those behaviors are passed down. Criticism, children growing up with low self-esteem and us walking around with our heads down. That is passed down.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah. So, and we aren't taught, but so what I'm ready for is for us to pass down the self-love.
Mm-hmm.
That's what with the reinvention, I'm trying to pass that down and let my daughter know. Listen, yes, you can do it. You can love yourself. With the healthy boundaries, I'm gonna go off the dome because one thing that I wanted to let the people know is that with healthy boundaries, you have what I call an internal umpire. I don't know I'm saying it wrong. Umpire that throws up what I call red flags. And with me, because I am probably an empath, if that's the right word, where I'm just, oh, poor everybody, oh, save the world.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can very much relate.
Like what the fuck? Save the whole world. Where, you have to, like you said, not only be able to have that empire, throw up a flag, say no, we're not doing this, no, we're not going there, but also not feel the shame and the guilt in regards that weighs us down so much and so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
The shame and the guilt, and I'm no doctor. I am a counselor. I am licensed. I'm not practicing. Hear me when I say do your research, get you a therapist, talk to somebody.
That's incredible.
God bless you. Thank you. But the shame and the guilt will get the obsession going. Mm-hmm. And now I can't stop thinking about what it was I didn't do because I didn't please Johnny. Or in my case, my mama, which was never possible when you grow up with a narcissistic mom, which is what we're going back to with the healthy boundaries. Or my pastor. I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and it was never good enough. And I did it the best. I listen, I am the best because I didn't have a choice but to be the best, and it was still never good enough. And it's like, that shit mentally fucks you, not to mention growing and becoming who you are, and you're like, I'm a kid, and I know I'm bisexual. But you want me to preach Sunday, and I'm not allowed to be bisexual, so I got to crucify the bisexual in me, even though I'm probably going to talk to one of my girlfriends after church. Or she prayed for me before I got up here, which is the only reason why. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
I remember the first time I brought one of my girlfriends, quote unquote, to church. Deep. We ain't even gonna get into that part right now. But but with the self-care, it's and at the time I didn't even know. Yeah. Now that I'm sitting back looking at it, yeah. But at the time I didn't even know. And that's the point, that you can allow yourself to be entrenched in communities that will not just the American system, not just white supremacy,
Even
I'm talking about, yes. Oh, trust there is. Thank you. But our people that will literally try to enslave you to their thoughts and to their perception of you and to what it is, or, even down to religious doctrine, to their beliefs. And you are trying to twist and turn yourself to be this creature that you're not.
Yeah.
And God gave me a book, Brie, which, and this is where I could see us doing some work together, too, with the artistry. He gave me a children's book, Mama, Why Did God Make Butterflies? And at the time, I didn't have a clue as to why he gave it to me. I just write stuff down. I'm like, okay, Lord. And so he's been sprinkling and trickling it on me. But the butterflies process with the cocoon, as far as the self-love and the incubation and you know, that time of development that is so necessary. But then today, just today, he dropped a revelation and bomb on me. He said, you seldom see butterflies flying together. I said, huh? I say, what? I was just like, what? For the first time in my life, generally, butterflies fly alone. In general. Except they're being cultivated on a farm or something like that. In general, you see a free butterfly. You don't see butterflies. And it made me come back to this today, the self-care, that it is so important, and the garden of the heart. And the thing about garden of the heart, it says, because out of it flows the issues of life. And the scripture goes and says, pulpit, it's better to walk alone. And so that butterfly made me think, and as much as interpersonal relationships are so powerful, I cannot give you anything, Brie, if I am not walking freely as me.
Hit the button. Yes.
Which one? Okay. Yes.
All of them.
All of them. I can't. I have to be able to walk alone. I have to be able to get my zen in, my time in. I have to. Otherwise, I'm coming in here and I'm talking because I have lips, and I ain't talking about nothing. And the thing about it is, as a part of our journeys, what I learned is that it's not just, I can be educated all day, and I've run into some very educated people. What I've learned in my process, that's self-healing, is that trauma not only comes up in what you do and how you respond, it comes up in what you say. I can say the nicest thing, Brie, I love you. I can say, I love your Puma hoodie. I really actually freaking do.
Thank you.
However, trauma can say it in a whole nother manner. Brie, I love your hoodie. You know what that says? That says, I ain't never had a hoodie like you had, because I grew up poor and whoop, and it's cute on you because you got a nice little shape and blah, 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 but whatever. But I do like your hoodie, though. And let me be honest, that's how most black women do. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, that's how we do each other. For example, I run into women all the time, and they go, oh, you lost weight.
Right. That's unfortunate.
Is that a compliment?
Yeah.
Girl, even if it was oh, you lost weight. The how is it? Our trauma and the fact that we're not whole, it spews out. Mm-hmm. On it over everything we say, regardless. I used to try to tell my mom that. She says, what? And not what I say is how, it's not what or how I say it, not what I say, not how I say it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Somebody comment below. You know your mama said, it ain't what I said, it's how I say it. Is that right? Help us out. But I was like, actually, it kind of is how you say it.
You're completely right.
And God gave it to me. Yes, say it. Don't spray it. Right. Say it with love. People can receive it with a little bit of honey.
Absolutely. Can I say,
Please.
I love your sweater today.
Thank you.
And the elephant necklace is quite charming.
Thank you, Brie. And I got dressed for you. Hold on, because I always do. I do it for all my people, and I even go down to the shoes. Let me show the people. For Brie,
with the
polka dots.
Oh my goodness!
And I do it because I'm like, this is one of my artistries. I love to get dressed.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I wanted to switch it because I did my homework and saw you're doing your TV show, and I love the empowerment on the T-shirts, and I rock the T-shirts, and I'm like, I should rock a T-shirt in honor of. But I was like, I felt like you would feel this today, going back to Biscuit Town. Because to be honest, Brie, I'm actually very shy.
Get out of town.
Biscuit Town. I am actually very shy. I really don't like talking to people. I just found out this past year that I have social anxiety. I've always had it. I just never knew what the hell it was. Thank God for friends. Yeah. Accountability partners, and starting a journey. And I'm one that I love being behind the camera. The Lord told me like several years ago before this came that I had a year to prepare myself to get in front of the camera. And I'm like, nope, not doing it. Sorry. Every time I preached at church, I have witnesses, was trembling with the microphone. I really am. I'm a nerd all day, every day. I get lost in studying, and I have to cut it off. Like, okay, girl, balance. Go get back with the rest of the world. Absolutely. Come back, type stuff.
I can relate. Yeah.
Yes. So I say that because as I was studying you, I'm like, we have a lot more in common than I would have. Not that I wouldn't have, but that I knew. Mm-hmm. And but I'm just grateful. So I rock my rock today. Even though I have some wardrobe malfunctions going on, but it's all good in the hood. For you.
Thank
yes.
You. Thank you.
Yes,
I'm
from
honored.
Biscuit Town. Thank you.
I want to speak on something you mentioned earlier, just about like how sometimes other Black women, we don't know how to support each other. And it can come from a place of our own insecurities or our own trauma. Yeah. And it's just like, it's that poison we're spewing out. We don't know how to be encouraging, be supportive. We don't know how to like adjust each other's crowns. Yes. It's like we're like trying to knock each other over, but it's like that's really not it, because we're all we have, really. Like there's, like I said, we're at the bottom of the totem pole in society demographically. Like, who gets the short end of the stick? The Black woman, the Black and brown women. So like whatever that means for you, dark. Dark people with vaginas. Like, we can't get a break out here. So I feel like every opportunity you can to support those like you, you've got to take that, because it's just like you sitting across the hall, and it's like maybe there's like I said, internal animosity or this or that, but it's like that's not your enemy. Like, that's literally you. So it behooves you to say something nice, something encouraging, something supportive, and to really like I don't know.
That's so deep and so beautiful. Yeah. It's literally you. Yeah. I'm taking that. It is. It's literally you. It's not even just your sister, it's you. Exactly. And it makes me think of that quote, Maya Angelou, when I stand as one, but I come as 1,000. I hope I'm not messing it up. And if I am, y'all comment below and let us know. But you know what I'm saying? I come as one, but I stand as 1,000. When I come with this experience forevermore, I'll be taking you with me, Brie. What? That freedom, everything, I'm taking you with me. Yes. And the other women that I've encountered, including my grandmother, and women I've never encountered, including Oprah, for example. I'm taking y'all with. Yes, definitely gonna meet you one day for sure. Taking these other women with us, our roots, and that's what I was loving about your show that I was learning today, and just being reminded about like Alice Walker. I'm like, I never knew Alice Walker was Black.
Listen, I can say I've not read a lot of Alice Walker, so I could see that.
I'm over here like, I'm not even Catholic, but I'm like, my mouth dropped, and all the other artists, and and I'm just sitting here like, this is beautiful. But if you hadn't thought to do this,
I try, and it's like, man, it's moments like these, and it's moments like, okay, earlier this month I got to be on Toby Ewing's podcast.
Shout out to Toby Ewing. I don't even know you, but okay, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Write you down.
Yes. Wonderful artist. Beauty is a metaphor. Check her out. She's always doing awesome things. But like, she has a podcast, Pleasure Principles. And I had another really wonderful, enlightening conversation like the one we're having, where it's like, I see what I'm doing is recognized by, certain people who are also doing it. And that's just like one of the most incredible feelings, because otherwise you're like, sometimes it's like, I don't know that I make the show for the DATV audience. All due respect to that audience, but it's like people who watch Channel 5 on DATV, I don't think they really care about Baby Biscuit Town. But, it's also online, and it does reach other people, other artists, and it feels good to get that acknowledgement, to have somebody like kind of understand where it's coming from. And so I appreciate the compliments, and I appreciate that you kind of recognize what I'm trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely get it. But you know what? Doesn't it feels there's another level as a creator when you do get that go ahead from another creator, because this is not it's blood, sweat, and tears that go into this.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I'm a baby, a rookie in the game, And, it's very easy to say, to lose sight of the vision, in particular because of life.
Yeah.
Just because of life, not because we don't love the vision, not because we're not married to the vision, but life will, listen, life is a real bitch. She knows how to, punch you real straight, square in the face, okay?
For sure.
Seriously, I told one of my old mentors that. I said, depression's a real bitch, but life is a real bitch. And she's like, you have to figure out another way to say that. I can't help you market that. And I'm like, I don't need your help because life is a real bitch. Okay, it is.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing about the self-care, the meditation, how'd you say it? Sitting with yourself, taking that time, eating healthy. I'm realizing that eating is such a major part of our moods, our diet. Just the way we eat has a big impact on our mental health, on our moods, on our day period, on our productivity, on our creativity, on our on our interactions. And so, food, we have to look at food differently. We have to look at food differently. We really do. And while I have our attention about food, we have to even think about not wasting it. So many that don't have food. So I was just telling a business owner, hey, don't pass out old food. Give it away to the homeless person standing right next to your shop.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate you. God bless you. Still, are we still human? But on the healthy boundaries tip and going back to the empire within yourself, there are certain principles that each of us have, certain things, and we have to sit down and really start thinking about these things. Each one of us has certain values, our deal breakers, our $1 million check, deal or no deal. For example, what do I mean, certain values? So for me, integrity is one of those. I have to deal with people that walk in and have integrity, that are honest, and that have work ethic. A lot of people nowadays, I was watching a show and they were asking what was the biggest, what was the best thing to have as an entrepreneur, work ethic or the ability to network? And 3 out of 4 people said network. And that's because we're a society that depends on, well, Brie, shout out to Toby. So hook me up with Toby, and I'm going to hook you up with Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And boom, and we just going to keep our stuff going because I'm trying to climb and you trying to climb. So versus let me hustle. Let me stay low. Let me do whatever it takes to get my mission mantra message out. Let me octopus arms. Let me sweat blood and tears. Let me beg Cheryl to come back or ask TALEYA for help or whatever it is. Let me do it. Let me beg Brie to help me do this book and illustrate and all kind of everything.
I'm here to help.
Say that. I am too. This is what we do, okay? This is what we do. And when you start taking care of yourself, guess what? The universe will take care of you. And like I told my friend, guess what? Stuff will just start coming to you like, oh, you needed this? You need a social media marketer? You need a brander? You need a designer? You need an editor? Here, whoa.
True.
Because you're loving yourself, and when you love yourself, you can love others. And you can pass it on.
It's the only way.
You have to listen. You have to pick it up before you can pass it on. Rewind that track. You have to pick it up before you can pass it on. And most of us do not actually really truly love ourselves. You couldn't have told me I didn't love myself, honey. I thought I was the finest thing since anything. Since Michael Jackson's Bad. You couldn't tell me I wasn't bad, Brie. I was bad and I knew it until, the Lord let me know, no, you're not. But and going back to just with the boundaries, y'all, as far as I wanted to say, when you're not in healthy relationships, look these things up. If you're going through things, my partner gives me the silent treatment. What is this a sign of? Have your, what I call 1, 2, 3 structure out. don't see yourself in the same situations over and over and over again, thinking that things are going to change. You have to put a boundary in. You have to put a time limit in and say, hey, wait a minute. Let me step back for a second. Let me reevaluate. Let me find out what's going on. As a matter of fact, let me, and I think you said something to this effect, but take 5 seconds to look at me and see how I'm contributing to the foolishness that's going on around me. A lot of times I have to tell myself, Talea, slow down. When I don't slow down, I self-sabotage. And I mean, it can be the littlest thing, like breaking a dish, messing up with this or that, or blah, 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 getting a speeding ticket, because you self-sabotage. So put those boundaries in on yourself, like I was talking about at the beginning of the show. Oh, well, if you have to go into alter ego mode and talk to yourself, hey, what to go on? You need to make an appointment with your therapist. Nah, you done lost your mind today. Go on and sit down. Have several seats. Wow. Be humble and sit down. Oh, well, too bad, so sad. Whether I look in the mirror, the camera, the phone, or just in passing as I'm driving my car. Now the ex-pimp is pimping me. Hey, get your weather together. Get your weather together, girl. And keep your weather together. So put those boundaries in first and foremost. And hear me when I say on yourself. This show is not the show for folks to go home and walk around and start telling people, you start doing this. Don't tell me this. And don't. No, when you really have healthy boundaries, you can deal with anything that comes your way. You are able to face anything that comes your way because you can say, you know what? You have to be in tune in that situation. Your healthy boundary will say, you know what? I need 5 minutes. I'm going to step outside. You don't need to make an announcement to the whole world or room. I'm going to excuse myself. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to woosah. I'm going to breathe so I don't hurt anybody. Boom. That's a healthy boundary for me because I know if I continue to engage in this conversation, things are not going to go well. So put those boundaries in on yourself. Hey, you know what, Talea? Today's not a great day for you to be extra volunteering to do anything. Why? Because you're tired or because you have a podcast and afterwards you're drained. So no, we're not signing up to volunteer for anything else afterward. Put those healthy boundaries in on yourself, whereas the old Talea would have been like, sure, girl. I'll squeeze in everything in on the same day and we'll make it all happen, Captain. And it doesn't go effectively. And now I'm stressed and tense. And now I'm bringing stress to your show. And put those in on yourself first. Meaning exercise for the body, but exercise for the mind. Reading a book. I don't care if it's a paragraph. Listen, one paragraph will accelerate and just change your life. And speaking of one, I did want to point one out on my quest to find out what happened to me. One thing that I saw that I wanted to share with everybody. Bear with me 1 second because we're wrapping it up and we're about to go.
No pressure. This has been lovely.
Thank you.
I'm so honored.
Say that. I should have marked it. This is what happens when you're reading your sleep by the bed. But I want to encourage the folks to even just to get this as a workbook to go with the book. But just talking about, what happened. Let's see. And it gives you lessons, goals, action steps, a checklist to take so you can, check in and be with yourself so you can butterfly, cocoon yourself. And sometimes you have to take time to do that. I'm at a place, Brie, where I'm like, I'm not dating. I can't officially seriously date because I realize, oh, well, yes, you're a great woman, but there's still pieces of you that are broken. And then the ugly truth is there are still pieces of you that are toxic. And it's like, ooh, given in a certain situation, which part is going to rise to the occasion? Yes, of course I want the healthy, healed part to come up, but there's still broken pieces. There's still trauma, drama, and the llama. Trauma, drama alert. Y'all don't forget about your trauma, drama alert. Trauma, drama alert. Don't forget. Okay? And so I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do that to anybody else anymore. So except until I really deal with this trauma part, I think I'm going to hold off on that piece. And that is self-care.
That's self-care. That's a healthy boundary.
Hey, say that.
We So healthy boundaries are an act of self-love too. So
Yes,
it's all
it is.
connected.
It is all connected. It's all one. It all ties in together. I'll find this for you guys next time and highlight that. But I just want to reiterate that the healthy boundaries start with you. Start with you, you know, and just try something small. Try something small, you know, like I'm learning how to keep the Sabbath. So that's not really technically small, not at all. Woo, this is a doozy, honey. Okay, when I first started, I'm like, whoa. But try something small and just say, okay, I'm going to turn my phone off at a certain time, just so I can rest. Healthy boundary. Or, yeah. Or for example, when I do my yoga and meditation, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. That is a healthy boundary. I do not answer the phone every time my phone rings. That is a healthy boundary.
Or check every text.
Oh, heck no. Healthy boundaries. Self-care. Queen, Brie, Baby Buns the Freak, Baby Buns McGee, Howie, you are free to be the me. We ain't ready. We ain't even seen yet. Let me go. Do you have anything for the people? Any last things, words? Please, I would love to have you back one day. I have to say that part.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. Positively honored.
Man, what do I have to say? I just want to say thank you for inviting me. Thanks for the conversation. This stuff inspires me as much as anything.
Thank you.
You know, I'm no expert. I'm trying every day like everybody else. So it's definitely, it can be a struggle, but just look after yourselves, folks. You know what I'm saying? Be sure to make yourself a priority, too. You're important. You deserve a lot. So, you know, see that. Give yourself grace.
Amen. And y'all, yes, go check out Baby Biscuit Town. Listen, episode 7. Three times and I'm not done. I'm still taking notes.
Oh my gosh.
But yes, you have to hit the bars, see the bars, listen to the bars that you dropped, and your philosophy on vagina. Y'all, you gotta hear. I wanted you to talk about it. We'll talk about that when you come back.
Oh man,
because that was powerful as hell. I'm like, what? I never thought about that.
Could I touch on it a little?
Yes, please.
Okay, so there's a skit on this episode 7 of Baby Biscuit Town called Pussy versus Portal.
Yes.
And I know, a lot of people call vagina pussy, and I was like, why? I don't understand. That just reminds me of cats and Hello Kitty and cutesy things. But it's like, I think of vagina as a portal. It's very science fiction. It's very futuristic. But it's like, like a black hole, because, black holes have their own gravitational pull. People are attracted to vaginas. They have their own gravitational pull. You can get lost in them. Things get lost in them. It can, like, matter from other realms come through both. Like, babies come through the vagina. Asteroids and such come through black holes. Like, anyway, it's very science fiction. So it's like, if it's like too much metaphor for you, Yoni is also a good name because there's more spiritual relevance.
I was wondering what you said. I thought you said yogi.
Oh darn! I gotta add that.
Say Yoni. Okay, let me write that down.
Yes, Yoni, because
yes.
we just, in thinking, like you said, about how we speak and like affirmations and things, it's like, let's make this as important as it is, and not this kind of like, I don't know, like the moniker itself just suggests something a lot less deep than what an actual vagina is, which is like incredibly deep. Oh, and the last parallel I made is like, we don't know a lot about black holes. Like, there's still a lot that perplexes us, and people don't know a lot about vaginas either. So I was like, it's another parallel.
And the end all be all was take care of our precious portals.
Yes, indeed.
Take care of our precious portals. Oh. Okay? Listen, and we are out of here on that note. It is Let's Talk About It. Listen, with TALEYA and my girl Brie. Woo! It's the real, the raw, the relevant podcast. We are out of here at last. God bless you. Thank you, Brie, for coming through.
Absolutely.
Hallelujah. Woo! Baby Biscuit Town Baby on Biscuit IG Town. Just now. Tell her I sent you one time for your holy mind. God bless y'all. We'll catch you on the flip side. Take care of yourself.
Take care.
Put in those healthy boundaries. Say no. Let me go. Comment. Subscribe. Hit the notification so
That's
you know
right.
when we go live. That part for the start.